The true American legend, Harry Belafonte, died today at the age of 96. The entertainer was a towering figure in music, in acting, politics, and social movements. His enormous talent was readily apparent from a young age. And even at the height of 20th century racial segregation, Belafonte broke barriers to become one of the most successful artists of his time. Did you know he was the first solo artist who had an album that sold over 1 million copies? I did not know that. He was the first African-American man to win a Tony. By 1959, Belafonte was the highest paid black artist in history. And what Belafonte did was that he used that wealth and his platform to help fund, nourish, and participate in the civil rights movement. Not as something adjacent to his fame, but as his purpose on this earth. He was a close friend of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who often stayed at Belafonte's New York apartment. Belafonte attended King's March on Washington. He bankrolled his Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He personally paid to bail King and other civil rights leaders out of jail. In 1968, Belafonte became the first black person to host a late-night talk show when he spent a week filling in for Johnny Carson. And during that week, he interviewed both King and Bobby Kennedy just months before both men were assassinated.
And I think the time has come to bring to bear the power of the direct action, the nonviolent direct action movement on the basic economic conditions that we face all over the country. Nonviolence has been a tremendous force in grappling with the social problem of legal segregation and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding that system.
At MLK's funeral, Belafonte sat next to King's widow, Coretta Scott King. He continued King's fight for equality and racial justice until the day he died. I mean, 10 years ago, Belafonte, then in his mid-80s, traveled down to Florida to attend a protest at the state capitol after the man who killed Trayvon Martin was acquitted for the black teenager's murder. And he joined us on this program after that protest. And then again in 2016, when I sat down with him here at 30 Rock to talk about mass incarceration as a civil rights issue.
I take the incarceration to be one of the last truly deep wrinkles in the American theme of what we've done to crucify young people, not only in the process of putting them in prison, but what happens to them after they come out. Unemployment, can't vote. It's a cruel place in which to be.
Harry Belafonte died today of congestive heart failure at his home in New York City. He was 96 years old. His legacy of grace and his lifelong, indefatigable pursuit of justice are truly irreplaceable. May he rest in power.